Hi, my name is Kayla Leitz and I teach flute at REW Music. I fell in love with the flute because when I was in 5th grade, they had this setup where we could play all of the different instruments. And I felt super special because I could make a sound out of all of them. And so my teacher was like, oh, you can just pick whatever you want. Well, I picked the clarinet. And I found out that just was not for me. And so instead, I decided to try the flute. And so it was the summer before 6th grade. Everybody was ahead of me. They were all going into 6th grade playing the flute for a whole year. And I was like, I gotta step up. I'm falling behind. And so I practiced all summer long and I got into middle school, into 6th grade, and I was able to just play at the same level that everybody else was. And so it made me feel so good being able to do that. And then, ever since then, it's just kind of grown, my love for the flute, and it really just made me feel like I kind of had a purpose in life because I was really good at that. And so it just is wonderful. My favorite thing about the flute is probably just how versatile it is, because I feel like a lot of people don't really realize that it can do a lot more than you might think it can, because it can really fit in with all different kinds of instruments. It can fit in with string instruments, it can fit in with brass instruments, it can fit in with choirs. Like, you can change the sound of the flute. You can make it brighter with trumpets, or you can make it darker with the low brass or the lower instruments and all of that. And you're able to change the timbre and the sound and just all of these different things, and you can make beautiful music, and you can be also very technical and fast, and there's so many different things that you can do with it, and I think that's probably my favorite thing. The best thing about teaching music has got to be being able to share my love of music with other people, and just being able to really nurture that joy of music in other people and just sharing that with everyone. A very common piece of flute repertoire is the Mozart in G major, and specifically the first movement is huge in the flute world. So a lot of challenges that go with that are all the tiny, tiny details. It is technical as well. There's a lot of 16th notes, but really that's all in theory. So it's scales. That's all it is. It's just going through scales. So the notes, that in that sense is just more simple than all of the other technical little details, such as making sure you do the right slurs in the right places, making sure all the staccatos are done, making sure the dynamics are there, being able to get your emotion into a technical piece. Not only that, but a lot of different arrangements are for this piece, and there are certain differences in each one. Like, maybe there's a slur in one place in one arrangement and there's not in another one. So it really is that challenge where you have to decide what works best for you, what works best for the listeners, who you want to play for, who you want to make it exciting for. But it's a really, really common piece that you really need to just be able to know, and you can sit down and read with it and really dig into it, into the fine details and the bones of it. So.